Hi everyone, it's Jules. Welcome to Jules Reads. Thank you so much for being here. I have kind of a random middle of the week. I skipped a week of my updates, so this is a random update on where I'm at with my reading. In these videos, I like to talk about also what I watched on TV and movies, because I do love that as well. And I also like to talk about what I did, personal plans that I did, and things coming up this week. I'm going to save the book haul for a separate video because it is actually quite large because I had my birthday, and then we also, with our book club, went to a used bookstore in Minneapolis. So that was really fun, and so I'm going to save it for a separate video. I do probably have like 10 books to talk about in that haul, so I will do that and share that in a separate video. But I'm also going to share what I watched at the end of this video because there is quite a few things I want to talk about. So if you're just here for the books, you can watch that first and then get on off if you don't want to watch about the movies, if you don't like that sort of thing. So, and I'll save what I did and our plans for this coming week for that as well. I'm filming at night. I don't normally film at night, and I have a ring light, so that's new to me. So we'll see how this goes. Alright, I'm having a mocktail. That's the thing these days, isn't it? So this is pomegranate juice and soda water. It's pretty good. Alright, so for reading updates, it's been about a week and a half since I updated you. The only thing that I finished, is The Talk by Darren Bell. This is a graphic memoir, so it is a graphic novel. This is what the cover looks like. So it's a graphic memoir. I think I misspoke before and said graphic novel. It's not a novel, it's a memoir. So it's a coming of age story about him growing up in Los Angeles. And it's about the talk is referring to the conversation that a lot of, probably every black parent has to have with their child about how they will be treated differently because of the color of their skin. So it is pretty heavy in that regards, but it is also about his just growing up. It spans, I think he's 6 years old, spans to him going to college and afterwards starting his journalism career. So he is the first black editorial cartoonist to win a Pulitzer Prize. I loved this book. I feel like in January it's starting off really great. I love the art style. I loved even the font. I know that's weird, but in graphic novels, that is a thing, if you like the font or not. So, graphic memoirs, misspoke again. But I loved it. I highly recommend it. It is heavy. It is pretty thick. It took me a little longer than it normally would for a graphic type of book, but I love, love, love it, and I will cherish that book for many, many years and probably reread it maybe once a year or so. So, last time I updated you, I had one of the best books I've ever read. I mean, I really, really loved it. I shouldn't say it was one of the best books I've ever read. I just really loved it. It was a great way to start 2024. And that was The Book of Lost Names. I no longer have that book. I passed it on to a friend. Well, I better get it back. But it's not in my possession right now. So that was The Book of Lost Names. I loved it. So I started off with a 5-star book, and now I DNF'd a book this week. And I don't know if it was because I had a book hangover with reading such a great book that I was like, nothing was hitting it for me, but I did DNF Mexican Gothic. I got a little over a third of the way through, and this is by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. I did read some spoilers to see if it was worth continuing on, since I was already at 100 pages, and it's not a thick book. It's maybe 300, a little over 300 pages. So I was like, should I just power through this? But I just have the philosophy that if you're not enjoying a book, and sometimes it's just not for you, like the style is not for you and other people love it, or it's not the right time that you're reading it, but it's not for me. And I don't know what it was, if it was the writing, but I just thought it was kind of boring. I was like, are we gonna get going here? And then I read, and a lot of people say that it takes till about 200 for it to get going. And then I read the spoilers, which sound kind of cool. But I was like, I don't need to keep reading, wasting, my time when I have so many books to read. So I DNF'd this one. This is my first DNF of 2024. So I did start reading Atomic Habits by James Clear. We are reading this for work, and we will be talking about this at work. So we have the whole first quarter to read it, but I'll probably get through it faster. But I do like it. I'm not really into nonfiction that much or self-help, but I have heard amazing things about this. But I just started, so I am reading that. I'm also still reading I Shall Wear Midnight by Terry Pratchett. This is the amazing, beautiful version that my husband got me for Christmas. I think he ordered it from Blackwell's in the UK. And I am probably about 100 pages in. And I know this is in the middle of a series and this is young adult. So I don't know if that is part of my problem with it, but I'm just like, it's okay. I don't know. I don't know if I'm just not really a fantasy of this type book lover, but it's just okay. But I will give you a full recap once I finish it. I am going to finish it. So the other book that I am reading and listening to on Audible is Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingsolver. So I might have changed my opinion a little bit since the last time we talked about my thoughts on this book. So the narration is amazing. There is a little bit of an accent, and obviously an accent to someone is not an accent to somebody else. So take that from somebody from Minnesota. So there is an accent to the narrator, which I am enjoying. It fits the character. And this is a kind of a coming of age. He has a rough life, but there's not a lot happening. So I was really, really liking it. The writing almost reminded me of Stephen King. He does a lot of coming of age stories. So the writing kind of reminded me of that, with also a lot of detail is Stephen King. This isn't so much giving you a lot of detail. It's a lot of it's a point of view of Demon. His name is actually Damon, but they call him Demon. So it's from his point of view. So it's really just his narration and what's going on in his head. And I'm almost not connecting with him well. Like, I don't know that I don't know that I know him very well. Even after 450 pages, he just has a rough life, and I feel like also he'll hit an obstacle or something really bad happens, and then he goes up, and then he goes down, and then he goes up, and then he goes down, which I've heard. So this is supposed to be a retelling of David Copperfield. So I've heard that is the way David Copperfield is. I don't know. I've never read it, so I can't speak to that, but I don't know. I'm just not... Again, it's okay. It's meh. I have a book hangover from Book of Lost Names, and I want that feeling again, which what I'm going to read next and pick up this week, I'm hoping will give that to me. But I will give you a full thoughts on this once I finish it. I am that far in it, based on the audio, what chapter I'm on, that's how far I am. So that is there's only like, I think 70 pages left. Here's my question for you, if you could please comment down below. When you listen to an audiobook, what speed do you listen to it at? I just realized that I've been listening to this audiobook at regular speed, which I normally listen to him at 1.2. So I was like, oh, maybe that is part of the problem. It's going slow because I'm listening to it slower than I probably read at about a 2, but I can't listen to an audiobook that fast. Anyway, so what speed do you listen to an audiobook at? I am really curious what other people do. So these are the books that I am reading currently. So the book that I'm going to pick up, you might be wondering, will be in my book haul that I'm going to film here shortly. And I just bought this, and I've heard amazing things about it, and I am so excited to read it. And it is The Frozen River by Ariel Lahan. So good at names. I'm really excited to read this. I've heard amazing things. It has great reviews on Goodreads. It sounds like, I think I might be becoming a historical fiction girl. I never thought that would be the case. Stephen King is my favorite author. I thought I'd be the thriller horror person, but I'm just 49 now, and maybe that's just where I'm at in my life. I don't know. I don't know what's happening. But one of my favorite books last year was The Last House on Needless Street, so I can still claim that I really like horror and thrillers. So anyway, I'm excited to read this. Hopefully it will get me out of that book hangover that I've been having the last couple weeks. But I'm excited to read that. So let's get started with the things that are non-book related. So if you're not interested in those, feel free to hop on off if you're not interested. What I did this week and last week as well. So this is Thursday. I don't think if I mentioned that, but I probably put it in the title of the video. But my birthday was last week, and so we went to a golf simulator inside. I do live in Minnesota, so you can't really play golf outside right now. So we went and did a golf simulator. It's at a golf course that we really like, and it's a brand new area. So we really enjoyed that. And then we cooked some steaks at home, which was delicious. I had a wonderful lunch with my mom. We like to try new restaurants. That's kind of our thing. Not new, but new to us. So we did that, and it was a very delicious meal. And then my husband and I this week played trivia, just the two of us. Normally we play with our friend, so we have 3 people. And we played just the 2 of us, and we did pretty well for just 2 people. Here is something fun about the trivia. One of the questions was, it was about inaugurations, and they didn't say JFK. I believe they just said this inauguration took place in let's just say it was 1960. I'm not sure what it was. And the next president was then inaugurated on what date? Well, I knew that JFK died on 11/22/63. And why did I know that? Because of a Stephen King book. That's my favorite Stephen King book, 11/22/63. That's my favorite of Stephen King's. And that is one of the books that got me back into reading, probably whenever it came out. Was that 15 years ago or so? Got me back into reading about 15 years ago. So, and see, there it is. I knew right away what the answer was. And yeah, I also knew Amanda Gorman. I tend to be the person in our group that doesn't know as many answers as the other 2, but I was really proud of myself that I knew those. The Amanda Gorman one was something about the poet read her poem, The Hill We Climb, in her yellow pea coat. And I knew, it took me a few seconds, but then I got it. So anyway, we played trivia. We had a great time. We're going to try and do trivia every week. So plans for this week, we're going to dinner, and I think I might start vlogging a little bit on the weekends and sharing those with you. Just some things, kind of like a little diary and reading vlog thing. So going to dinner, and then we're going in St. Paul. There's an old mansion called the James J. Hill House. So we are going on a tour of that mansion. Okay, for what I watched, this is a lot. I just kind of was in a movie mood. I wasn't feeling good one day, so I watched a couple movies as I was trying to work. And then, yeah, just a lot of movies and stuff. So the first one is Eiffel, and I can't think of her name right now, but she is the girl that's in Sex Education, which we also watched that. I don't think we finished it yet. But Eiffel it's in French, and I highly recommend not watching it dubbed. I would not watch anything dubbed. I would watch it with subtitles. I've never liked anything dubbed. That's just my opinion. So we had to buy it or rent it from somewhere, and it wasn't too much. But anyway, so we did watch it with subtitles, watched it in French with subtitles, and we enjoyed it. And then I had never watched it, which I read the book many years ago. I think it came out around 2008 or so. And I'm going to get the title wrong because it's a long title. Guernsey and Potato Peel Society. I'll post something here. And so I watched the movie and I loved it. Cried. Yeah, I loved the movie. I will definitely rewatch the movie. Yeah, who am I? This historical fiction person? I don't know. But I loved it. I read the book many years ago, and I remember I liked the book, but I didn't love it. But the movie, it wasn't in that letter format, so I just felt a little more connected to the characters, I think, or in there with them at that time that things were happening, so not reflecting back on things. And then I started the new season of True Detectives with Jodie Foster. That woman is on fire right now. She is so good in True Detective, and I loved the first season of True Detective. It's one of them that I will go back and rewatch. The other 2 seasons I wasn't that crazy about, but I'm loving this new season and I'm very excited. And I watched the first 2 episodes. A little creepy, like True Detective is, and this one takes place in Alaska, which is fun. Kind of in the background, I've been watching as I'm watching YouTube. I do that. I'll watch YouTube on my phone, and then I will watch something on TV. And my husband last night asked me, why don't you watch YouTube on the TV? And I said, because I like to multitask. I like to absorb all the things. So I like to watch something that I've probably seen before, and also watch my favorite YouTubers on booktube. So in the background this week, I had on The Shining Girls, or is it Shining Girls or The Shining Girls? I have watched that before. I do really like it. I never read the book, but I like the TV show. And then also Whitechapel. So I like it. I've never fully watched it and paid attention, so I'm not sure. I'm not quite sure what's going on, but it's something to have on in the background that I'm enjoying. And then I just started watching and having on in the background The Sopranos, which I've started that and had it on the background so many times. And then the last movie that I just want to mention that I watched is Arrival. I really love this movie. I've watched it several times. And this is really a movie about language and communication. So it's a science fiction movie. I absolutely love it. I highly recommend the movie if you're into science fiction type of movies, but there's no gore or action really. It's just, I don't know. I really love it. And Amy Adams, love her. So there you go. Let me know what you're watching and reading down below as well, and what you listen to audiobooks, what speed you listen to them on. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. This was probably a long video, and that's why I'm keeping the book haul separate, but cheers and thanks for watching.